Just waiting to go live here. I guess I should use some lights. There we go, that's a lot better. Just waiting for my stream to start here. You might be watching me talking to myself, but it takes a bit of time for it to get going. Oh, it says it's live. Well, give me 2 moments here. It's because I'm streaming like in a different way. I don't normally stream this way. I usually connect the stream key, but I connected my account directly. We're gonna get started here in just 2 minutes. I'm just putting out the word on social media that I'm doing this challenge. All right, I put out the tweet. I'm ready to go here, so we'll get started. Hey everybody, this is Andrew Brown and welcome to another Google Cloud Challenge. This time I'm doing the 5th challenge out of the 10 challenges. If you don't know, every single week for this summer, or for the most of the summer and a bit into the fall, Google is releasing 10 challenges that are in a Playground Sandbox account to test your Google Cloud knowledge. A great way to upskill. I'm really loving these things. And so far I've gotten 4 out of 10. And so today we have a new challenge, so let's get to it. So let's give it a quick read before we start the timer. And it's not a big deal if the timer runs out because I get 2 attempts. I'm bumping up the font for all you there that want to read. Let's go take a look here and what we can see. So this one's called Use IAM Impersonation to Deploy a Virtual Machine. And if we scroll on down, we'll give it a bit of a read. So to complete this challenge, you must deploy a compute engine virtual machine, a VM, using IAM service account impersonation. Your student account does not have sufficient direct permissions to perform the individual tasks that must be completed. Your student account has been granted service account token creator role for the web admin IAM service account, etc., etc. So it sounds like this is a permissions issue. I'm not really great with Google Cloud's permissions, but this is a great opportunity for me to get better. So let's get started. I'm going to assume this lab is going to spin up pretty quick because it's a virtual machine and a bucket. But we'll let that go, and it's going to take under a minute to get started. And so we'll just hang out here until that happens, all right? And I figure we can give it a bit of a read here. I was just checking the chat to see if anybody showed up because this is a new way that I'm streaming. I don't stream this way. So for me, I'm just having fun. Previous ones I just recorded, so I could cut out a little bit of the nonsense, but this one is going to be full-blown, just straight on recording. So your account does not have sufficient permissions. The web admin SA IAM service account has been bound to the following roles so that can be used to create all of the resources required to complete this challenge. So we have storage admin, compute admin, storage network admin. Sounds like good, sane things. It also has been bound to the roles service account user, role in the default compute engine service account, so that it can be used to deploy instances that service account. So a service account generally means an account for a service, permissions for a service. You know, if you're over in Azure, they call them service principals, and AWS, they are IAM roles. So very similar concept here. But what we'll do is open up, well, not exactly an IAM role, but something similar, but we'll open up this incognito as we've been doing this entire time because it makes it a bit easier so you're not messing up your main Google account. Make sure the student name is correct because sometimes that gets flipped on you by accident. We'll go ahead and connect here and say, I understand. Should prompt and say, are you in Canada? Of course I'm in Canada. For your country, it will be different. We'll give it a moment here. So let's say, I agree. We'll say agree and continue, and we are good to go. So let's look at what the challenge wants. So you need to perform the following tasks to complete this challenge. Create a new storage bucket. So that is pretty darn easy. Let's make our way over to buckets. Cloud storage. And there's a couple buckets here, just making sure that bucket doesn't already exist for us. It does not, so we're in good shape here. So I'm going to grab that name here. And we'll say, oh, you need permissions for this action. Oh, okay. So this is kind of where we're running into some issues right away. So it is a permissions thing. So you need the following, perform the following tasks. So let's go back to the top here. So your student account does not have sufficient direct permissions to perform individual tasks that you must complete. Your student account has been granted service account token creator role. Okay, on the web admin SA IAM service account. So we can't click through, so there's going to be some other way we're going to go about this. So let's just type in service account and see what comes up. A lot of times when I'm looking for something, I just type it in and I get stuff. So the service account represents a Google Cloud service identity, such as code running on Compute Engine virtual machine, App Engine apps, or system running outside of Google. So it sounds like a virtual machine has been provisioned and it has more permissions than our own account has. So it sounds like if we were to go into that virtual machine and do everything from there, we should be able to do things. So I'm thinking that's what we need to do. That's my best guess. So now the next question is, which virtual machine should we get into? I think I know what's going on here. So they say here, a service account token creator role, web admin. You must deploy Compute Engine. So I'm not thinking there's a Compute Engine for us yet. So we'll have to make a new one. I'm already liking this challenge. It's fun. Because it kind of feels like a security challenge. Great way to test your security knowledge. So we have a lab server, but that's the server running the labs and checking things. So we don't want to touch that one. So we'll go ahead. Oh, I can't create that one either. Okay. So I can't create a VM and I can't create a bucket. Interesting. Do I have an instance template? No. Okay, so let's go back to here. So to complete this challenge, you must deploy a Compute Engine virtual machine using an IAM service account impersonation. Your student account does not have service permissions. Your student account has been granted service account token creator role. For web admin, IAM service account has been bound to the following roles, so you can use it to create all the resources required. Okay, so that thing has access to the stuff we need. So let's see if we can figure out which role it is here. Web admin SA is the IAM service account. Okay, so it's this one that we want to use. It has no keys generated, so we'll click into here. We'll go ahead and we can create a key. So service account keys could pose a security risk. If compromised, we recommend you avoid downloading service account keys and instead using WIF, which is totally fine. We're going to just generate a key. Oh, I can't generate a key either. Huh. Add a new key pair or upload a public certificate from an existing key pair. So what can I do? I like how I've made an entire Google Cloud course and I don't even know how to do this. Let's see here. So create this OAuth client is necessary to support Google Workspace. We don't care about Google Workspace. So how are we going to solve this? Let's go back here and read it again. And that's what I do a lot. I'll read something over and over again until it sinks into my brain. The web admin SA IAM service account has been bound to the following roles so that can be used to create all the resources required to complete this challenge. It has also been bound to the roles service account user role on the default Compute Engine service account. So it can be used to deploy instances with that service account. Okay, so there is a role for the service account user role. Okay. But I can't generate a key. I can't launch a VM. All right, well, let's go take a look at IAM and see what there is here. Or maybe we'll go down to roles. Maybe I need to attach the role to myself. So there's a role called service account user. Let's see if we can find that. I found it. Let's click into it. So we have service account get list projects lists. IAM service account user role has been bound to the following roles so that can be used to create. It has also been bound to the service account user role. Okay. Well, let's see if we can attach it to ourselves. Maybe that's all we need to do here. So I'll go over here. And this is probably me, because all I have access is to the viewer right now. That kind of makes sense. Can I edit myself? You need permissions for this action required. Resource manager projects. Set IAM policy. Roles. What can I do? Okay, so the web admin SAIM service account has been bound to the following roles, so it can be used to create all the resources required to the challenge. I know it seems crazy. I'm just going to keep reading until it sinks in my brain. So this service account has the following roles and has been bound to the role service account user role on the default compute engine service account. So it can be used to deploy instances with that service account. So it is the default role on the default compute engine service account. Okay. Well, let's go back to the virtual machine. There's the lab server. I would think that if we're viewer only, we shouldn't be able to get into it. But let's see what happens if we try. I really don't think we're supposed to be touching the lab server. Okay. So definitely not that. That's definitely not the solution. I'm pretty certain we can't SSH. Yeah, there's no way because we have viewer access. There's no way we can get in there. Okay, let's look for hints. Not seeing your score, first time skill boost, join the conversation. They didn't give us any tips. Scoring algorithm, minute or two, that is fine. So let's just keep reading the challenge. So create a storage bucket, copy the startup script, deploy a web server, create a new storage bucket. Copy the startup script from the storage bucket, add a firewall rule, deploy the virtual machine. But I can't do anything. All right, let's go back to IAM because I feel like the solution's somewhere in there. And so these are principles. Service account, user. Yeah, this one could really use a starting clue. Your student account does not have sufficient direct permissions to perform the individual tasks that must be completed. Your student account has been granted the service access token creator role. So I should be able to create a token on the WebSA IAM service account. So that's why when I was going into the IAM role or the service, I thought I could generate the key on it. Well, anyway, let's go take a look at the role. I feel like it's going to stick out at us if we just keep searching for a bit. No, because it's an IAM principle. Okay, so that is that. Can I click into it? Yes. Domain wide. I really thought we would have just made a key. Add key. Okay, let's look up this. Because I thought that would have created a key. Maybe it's a token? And I really don't care about the time. We're not going to get it this round here. So a service account is a special kind of account used by applications or compute workloads. It's a compute engine. I understand that. So what I want to know about is the token. Each service account is associated with a public-private RSA pair key. The service account credentials API uses the internal key pair to create short-lived service account credentials and to sign blobs using JSON web tokens. This key pair is known as the Google Managed Key Pair. In addition, you create multiple public-private RSA key pairs known as user-managed key pairs and use the private key to authenticate to the Google API. Okay, that makes sense. Google Managed Key Pairs are used by the Service Account Credentials API. That sounds like something we want to use. Credentials. Ah, okay, I think this is what we need to do. But I don't see any, well, options here. If we click into this one, it's just going to take me back to the principal, isn't it? Yes, it is. Because wouldn't the keys on the other page be the same place to generate other keys? Configure. Remember to configure the OAuth consent. Maybe we got to do this first. Only available to users within your organization. Sounds good to me. Well, I guess it'd be. But how would we get an email for that? So that doesn't make any sense. Would it be internal or external? Your app will start the testing mode to be available to users. No, I think it's internal. So we'll choose internal. Is there more options? I always feel like there's more options. Let's go back to credentials. Configure the consent screen. Okay, so that's not helping me. So Google Managed Key Pairs are service accounts APIs by the Google Account App Engine that are short-lived. Google Managed Key Pairs are automatically rotated. That's great. You can create your user managed key pairs for a service account, then use the private key. This private key is known as the service account key. Each service account can have up to 10 service account keys. Let's go over to Compute Engine because I kind of remember it having its own page. Okay, so we'll click here. And I'm just going to scroll on down. I'll look for something. Let's try settings. That's not helping me much. You can create a user managed key pairs for a service account, then use a private key pair. This private key is known as service account. Each service account service, Google stores only the public portion. There are a few different ways to create a user managed key pair. Use the IAM API to create a user managed key pair automatically. Google generates a public private key pair, stores it only there. Create a user managed key yourself and upload the public key. Okay, so let's go to this tab and see where it goes. You can upload a publicly service account. Okay, so I'm going to just copy this link over here. How are we doing for time? 5 minutes. And so service accounts, keys, add keys. Let's just open this up, see if it takes me to the same place I'm already at. No, this is actually under service accounts. That's fine. Okay, so we'll click into the project, which we already had a project selected. Click the email address of the service account that you want to upload a key for. Well, it's this one, right? Go to the keys tabs, add a key, but we couldn't do that. Okay. If I don't have access to this one, maybe they were saying about the compute developer engine. Block service account key creation using organizations. Not what I want to do here. Let's just check all of them. What if I go to this one? Well, there is a key here, but I didn't upload it, so I wouldn't have the other part to it. Because that's probably the account, that's the Quick Lab service account. Oh, this one's a hard one. Okay, let's just keep reading through this here. Let's check our time here. 4 minutes, it's fine. So, for example, the following command generates a key. You can then upload, well, here's a question. Can I at least upload a key? No. What if I open up Cloud Shell? Can I open up Cloud Shell? Continue. Because I have a viewer account. I'm assuming I can't do anything. Well, I have access to Cloud Shell, so I at least can open this up. So if that's the case, let's take a look at doing it with gcloud. So to get a public key for a service account key, go to gcloud here. Get a service account key. Upload a public account key. I think it's this one we want to do here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and generate a new key. Can't open path to private PEM. Oh, right. So we'll just modify this. Again, we might have to restart this and try again. Not a big deal because it spun up pretty quick. We don't need a subject or anything like that. But let's just hit enter and generate it based on those instructions. I'm just going to here. And then let's see here. Well, there might be some important instructions here. So to execute gcloud IAM upload key. So key file will be for the public key. The SA name, the name of the service account to upload for. We're probably running out of time. I'll have to restart this. No, we still got 2 minutes. So we'll go back up here, and the service account name is what? Does it want the full email? The name of the service account. Okay, I'm going to try this. The project ID. Clearly moving really, really slow here. I want this name, copy. There we go. And let's see if we can execute this. Authorize. Did it work? Is it working? Did I lose my environment? Nope, not yet. The connection to Google Cloud Shell was lost. Well, that's great. Let's try this again. Error. Permission denied. IAM service account key create is required to perform this operation for the service account. Quick Labs. Service account keys create. So, service account token creator. I feel like we're trying to create keys and tokens or something else. Is one of the authorization messages. I mean, this is Kubernetes, but we'll read it a bit here anyway. Is this for Google though? No. Okay, tokens. Well, we are reading about key pairs. Maybe we're supposed to be down all the way here. This rule enables impersonation of service accounts to create OAuth access tokens. Oh, we're not doing key pairs. We're doing OAuth, of course, or something along the lines of this. So I'm totally off base here. That's totally fine because this is ended. Hard, but hard challenge. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start on over because we're clearly really in the wrong area here. So I'll start the lab again. So the role enables impersonation of service accounts to create an OAuth 2 access token. You can create a short-lived credential that allows you to assume the identity of a Google Cloud Service account. That's what we want. These credentials can be used to authenticate calls to Google Cloud API or non-Google APIs. The most common use case is temporary delegate of access to Google Cloud resource, access to different projects, organizations, accounts. That sounds like what we want. So I'm going to open a new tab. There is that web load identity federation. I don't know if that's really, you can grant identities from a workload that runs outside Google Cloud, such as Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure, the ability to impersonate service accounts. I really like the sound of that. So it looks like we need to do whatever this is. Okay, so we'll go back over here. We have our new environment. We'll open a new incognito tab. And I think this time we're on the right path. Grab the password, double check the student account, make sure it is correct. We will go next. We will put in a password. We'll say, I understand. And so what we'll do here is make our way over to this page here. So we'll open this in a new tab here. Okay. Says this needs to be enabled first. I agree. Accept and continue. You're going to make changes to the project. If not, the project intended to use, or you can select a different account. Please check the URL parameters. You need service usage, services enable permissions. I guess the question, is it enabled? That's what I want to know. So I think that's something we will need to check out. If we go over to APIs, we probably could just search it that way. Because maybe we already have access, we don't need to enable it. So we're looking for service account credentials. Library. It's already enabled. Okay, so we don't have to do that step. A direct request involves two identities, the call to the service account, provide the required permissions for a user account. So when you use the Google Cloud CLI to generate a short-lived token or generate short-lived tokens, blah, 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 blah. Let's scroll down and read some stuff. So if you go to service accounts, permissions tab, principals with access. Oh, so we can do it through the console. Let's do that because I like using the console. It's fun. So we'll go back to service accounts. We'll go here. We will hit got it. We will go to, I think, this one here. We'll go to permissions. And it says permissions under principal with access to this service account. Click grant access. Okay, well, that's disabled, so I can't do that. Let's go to gcloud. So the gcloud IAM service IAM policy binding command grants a role on a service account. But we already have something bound because that's what it said earlier, right? If we go back to here, it says the web admin SA IAM service account has been bound to the following roles so it can be used. It also has been bound to the roles service account user role on default compute engine so it can be used to deploy instances with that service account. So it sounds like we need to use this service account. Permissions. Again, I don't think this is something we want to do. Oh, they make this hard for me. The email address of the privilege-bearing service account for which the token is generated. Caller account, the email address of the account that's requesting it. I guess we can try this. I don't know if we're in the wrong place, but it definitely doesn't sound like we're doing keys. Sounds like we're doing OAuth or GWT or something like that. See if there's any other options here. Provide the required permissions. So I just don't know if we already have the permissions. Say gcloud IAM. I guess we just insert this here. So the private SA, so that's the service account we want access to. Let's go back and read which one, because I keep forgetting. Web admin SA. So let's do that one. So we need to grab the whole email address. Web admin SA. And then we need the caller account, which is us. So we go back to IAM here. The person that's calling it is us, the student. Because it said we had that role, right? So we'll go here. Authorize. Okay, so it says set IAM policies required to perform this operation. So maybe the step's already done for this. It says gcloud IAM service account, add IAM policy binding to member user. Okay, because I believe we can already do this. So this step is probably done. So provide the required permissions to a user account. So I think that's already done. So request short-lived credentials. So we got a few different ways to do it. We try this. Yes. You're now logged in as student. Your current project exists. You can change it by running gcloud. Okay. So we're logged in. Though I would think that we were already when we're gcloud. Generates an OAuth 2 command token. For the web admin one? Okay. Looks like it's working. Okay, so generating OAuth 2 access token. All right. Now what do I do with it? You know what I mean? Create OAuth 2.0, OpenID. Done all these things, just don't remember how they work. Request short-lived credentials. So after you granted the appropriate roles, you can request short-lived credentials for the desired service account. The following credential types are supported. Okay, we have access token, connect ID, self-signed JWT, self-signed binary object. I'm just trying to think which is the easiest one to use, because JWT should be pretty easy. Authenticating a call to the Google API as described in here. Creating a self-signed blob are useful in scenarios where you need to securely transmit arbitrary binary data. We don't need to do that. Self-sign are varieties. Authenticating a call to Google API using the Google Authentication Guide, securely communicating. I kind of want to do this because I feel like I'm more comfortable doing JWT. Okay, how are we doing for time? Still okay. So before using any request data, make the following replacements. JWT payload. The JWT payload to sign with JSON object that contains a JWT claim. Ugh. I hate identity so much. Manage the service account impersonation. This page describes how to allow principal service roles to impersonate or act as an identity. Allows the principal workload identity, allows principals to impersonate other ones. You can grant a predefined role or custom role. Adding a principal to the impersonated service account. What a headache. Okay. How to use Google Cloud short-lived OAuth. The Google 2.0 system supports server-to-server interactions such as those between a web application and a Google service. Creating a service account. A service account credential includes generated email address. Have you tamed the client email address and the private key from the API console? See, like an OAuth 2, I guess that'd be like for an app. I do not like this lab at all. Are useful varieties authenticating to a call to Google API. That's what we want to do. With the Google API, you can make authorized API calls using a JWT directly as a bearer token rather than an OAuth 2.0 access token. When this is possible, you can avoid having to make a request, a network request to Google's authorization server before making an API call. I guess if we could just set a bearer token. So here, call the API using the JWT as the bearer token. Okay, so G-Cloud with access token. I mean, this command is using a service account impersonation. Well, all API calls will be executed. Okay, so I think the API is already set up. I think I don't have to do anything else but use the API now. So if that's the case, let's see if we can make a bucket, because if we have access to that, that should be the easiest. Well, hold on here for a second. Let's go here. Has the following storage, compute, storage account. So I have a feeling that we can create stuff. So G-Cloud create bucket. Now, just to double check, I don't think, no, it's in here. It's not going to be in our whole session. Create a new bucket. And we will go back over to here. Okay. Did I just create the bucket? Did I just solve it? What was the name of the bucket we made? G Quick Labs GCP 03. Just as a sanity check, I'm just gonna make my own bucket here. Hello, hello, hello. So I'm not crazy. Refresh, refresh, refresh. Why can't I make that one? Oh wait, hold on here. So access denied, 403 student count has not access to storage buckets, create access to Google Cloud projects. Yeah, so I never created the bucket. Okay. And this font is really hard on my eyes. Maybe I can bump it up. Font size, large. Okay. So I thought I had it working. Google auth print access token impersonate. Well, that would just print out the token. This command is using the service account impersonation. All API calls will be executed as web admin service account. Well, I feel like we're getting closer to the solution. How are we doing for time? We're doing okay. So we'll go back to here. Using the auth2 in a web server, integrating Google sign-in, calling Google API calls. So OAuth 2 would be HTTP. However, the mechanics of the server communication. Your application can complete these tasks by using the Google API's client library for your language. Well, I'm pretty good at programming, so it's not a big deal if we have to do some code. So I'm going to open up the editor here, because maybe we'll have an easier time doing that. I mean, they do have code samples everywhere, so it's not like it's a big deal. And we could do one in our favorite language, like Ruby, because I love Ruby. So we'll just make a new file here. New file. Something I don't understand with Cloud Shell is this weird delay. You have to wait a long time for it to there we go. For it to get going here. Still, I'm very happy that it exists. Okay, so we'll go file, new bucket.rb. And we will copy this here. I will paste this in here. Double click, paste, save. What gem does it need though? It doesn't say. Generate new gem file. There's usually a way to generate one from scratch. I guess I could just type in bundle init. I think the way this is going to be easiest for me is with code, so bundle init. I don't care. We will delete this one out. So, okay. Bundle init. There we go. We'll paste that one in there. How are we doing for time? Terrible for time. Bundle install. Go back to our code here. Bucket name, location, definitely not there. Code line, whatever. So let's go read how we can use tokens to authenticate. Your application can complete these tasks either by using the Google Cloud Client API for your language by directly integrating OAuth 2.0 using HTTP. Recommend for you. This is going to run out of the clock. I'm just going to close this. I'm going to read through this first. All right, so you know what? I think this one's a bit more work. It's just because identity is so hard to remember how to do. I almost feel like this has OAuth, but it's like I almost feel like I have to build an app to access this. To complete this challenge, you must deploy a new compute virtual engine. Student account does not have sufficient permissions. The IAM service account has been bound. It also has been here. You will need to complete the following tasks. So I'm going to need some more time with this. I'm bust for time today, but at least we made a good attempt here. I'm going to keep reading more about this page here, and I guess we'll just do a regular recording and streamline through it, okay?